Okay, hello. Well, hello to everybody. Let me adjust the audio stream here for just a second. That's on. Okay, I think that solves it. So let's start over again, shall we? I did a test broadcast before we went on the air, and everything seemed to be fine, but then I switched to, doesn't matter. Anyway, let's start over again, shall we? All right, take two. It's 10 minutes after 10 o'clock Central Time and Eastern Standard Time. We are coming to you live and in color from Owen Roberts International Airport in Grand Cayman. So I hope that's a little better. Thank you for your indulgence. We're here on the patio of Glow Nails and Spa Luxury Salon. Now, I don't need a manicure or pedicure, although if you're here in Cayman, you might want to check it out. There's our first arrival, which kind of snuck in. We don't have a clear shot of the arrivals, so we've got to rely on flight radar to let us know when they're in the vicinity. So what do we have there? Well, I'll tell you in just a second here. Coming in from Providenciales is a Bombardier Challenger 300 from Vista America. 16-year-old example of that aircraft. Here at Owen Roberts Airport. Let me do this so you know a little better where we are. I've got our clock here. Got a little logo here. Put in the chat and alerts, and I think we're good to go. So welcome, and technical problems are to be expected. We're coming to you at a reduced frame rate and resolution today for those of you who are technically minded, and that is because internet connections are, it may not work all that well. So far no dropped frames, so I think we're doing okay. So now let's get back to our messages. Josue Flores says, I'd love to hear comments about that gorgeous place. Brandon Rabbit says, you have inspired me to go and visit the Grand Cayman Islands in November for Thanksgiving break. We'll be talking about the Cayman Islands all during this broadcast, of course. The good and the bad, mostly good. There's the Cayman Islands MAX 8 touching down. All of Cayman Airways jet fleet is MAX 8, and I'm not sure how many they have. They have at least 4 or 5. That plane making an appearance from Kingston, Jamaica. And that's just a 53-minute flight. As we looked at the map earlier, Jamaica is just to the south and southeast of here, and the Cayman Islands there at the bottom. That's where the line ends, at the bottom of the screen there. We are 1,348 miles from our home base at DFW Airport. So thanks for stopping by today. Michael Moore BHM says, wow, beautiful tail art. Yes, it is quite a colorful aircraft. We'll get a little bit more of it for you as we can. It's got to go to the end of the airport and turn around. Meanwhile, here is the jet we saw come in preceding that one, that private jet. So there are 3 Cayman Islands. This is the primary one, the main one, the biggest one, Grand Cayman. And we are in the city of Georgetown, which is the capital of the Cayman Islands. There are 2 other islands, Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. They are located about 90 miles east-northeast of here. And I was surprised to see that Cayman Airways is flying its MAX 8s over there. I didn't know that airport was big enough to accommodate that to Cayman Brac. Mrs. Runway DFW and I visited Cayman Brac once, many years ago, and we got over there on a Cayman Airways propeller plane, of which they have several varieties. They got some they've got some a Saab or 2, I think, a Saab 340. And there's the fire brigade. And of course, since we're just adjacent to a busy road, you'll hear a lot of road noise below us, in addition to the aircraft when they come by. So it should start getting busier here in the next few minutes. The planes are coming in from the east. This airport runs more or less east-west. This runway runs more or less east-west. Cayman Islands is a British protectorate, and they're about to have elections here on April 30th. One of the issues that is to be decided by referendum is the issue of cruise ships and whether to build a port which can accommodate cruise ships docking directly into port. Right now they have to park outside the harbor and tender in the passengers. All right, here comes that's the Cayman Islands, or Cayman Airways MAX 8, which came in from Kingston, Jamaica just a bit ago, and it's fallen off the radar. And there's the tail art that was spoken of previously. It contains the slogan, or the official motto of the Cayman Islands, "He hath founded it upon the seas." You can kind of see it in yellow there. At least the start of that saying. And there's another one of the MAX 8s. Let me zoom out here to make sure we're not missing anything coming in, because it's going to surprise us when it does. Hey, there's O'Malley, one of our mods. Georgetown Owen Roberts International Airport. That's where we are. A few trains at. Says afternoon Walt Mods in chat. Hey, I wanted to have a special shout out here before it gets busy. Yeah, I don't know if it'll get busy, but before it gets too busy, to salute our great members, and specifically our members who are now in the 2-year club. So they've been members for 2 years or more. And so I compiled this list overnight. Let's see if it pops up here. There it is. So there's the members of our 2-year club of Runway DFW. And a few trains at is at the top of the list alphabetically, although it goes a little bit awry alphabetically as we go along here. But also on the list, Airline Videos. Thank you, Kevin. Beve. Chuck Tolsma. Dave Billington. Dogwood 67. Dustin Jackson. James Webb. Josh Aldrich. Kells 1136. KS Avgeek. Linda Kavinsky. Michelle R.S. Michetti. O'Malley. Steve B., Vince Las Vegas, and Larry Hawkins. Larry, I don't know how your name got out of sync there, but thank you so much to all of you for being such long-term members of Runway DFW. It means a lot to your host, and I appreciate that. The 2-year club. Brandon Rabbit says, Walt, did you go non-stop from DFW? Yes, American Airlines operates a once-a-week non-stop flight to the Cayman Islands. If you want to go at other time, you can go daily, but you have to make a connection somewhere, either with American, either Charlotte or Miami. I believe you can also get to Cayman on Southwest Airlines. If you go through, I believe what's happening there? That doesn't look right. Oh, I know what's going on. Do I know what's going on there? Something's weird about this camera. It's way zoomed in beyond what I'm gonna kill that source. Hang on. Technical problems. Let me re-enable that source here. I think I've got it. Okay, no. Oh, that is weird, wild stuff. I don't know what's happening there. So that's supposed to be a shot of the tower, but I had it zoomed in. It's zooming in on that unexpectedly. I'm going to try to fix that before we get too far along. So our number 2 camera is working okay. This one is just cropped in. I'm sending a wide shot out, which you should see the road in, but it's not working. Oh, the same thing is happening with this camera. I think this is the only... Is this one working correctly? No, that one's also zoomed in. I know. Streaming problems. There's Mary Extraordinaire, says, hey, Joel. Hey, all just passing by. Hello to you. Good to see you here. Jackie Redman says, enjoy. Theo Smaglick. Are these appearing on your screen? They are not because it's cut off. Okay. Oh, I see what's happening. All right. There's a problem at my end. You can see that. Katie Goodling says, dang, I'm at 23 months. Don't worry, we'll add you in there when we get there. But I do appreciate 23 months. That's a long time, so I appreciate that. Thomas Moore says sometimes AVL catches Cayman Airways on their Sunday shows when it leaves in the morning, and yeah, I have seen that before. Cayman Airways had previously flown to the U.S. to DFW Airport. Oh, we're about to see JetBlue. JetBlue flight 765 coming in from JFK on an Airbus A320. So what we're going to do now is swing camera 1 over to the eastern skies so we can be ready for its arrival on this very pleasant day. And I especially am glad that the Glow Nails and Spa patio is under shade right now. And we should see that shade through our... We'll be here till, if everything works, if our batteries hold out and everything, we should be here till about 1 or 1:30 Central Time. So we'll see what happens. Ron Sees America says, howdy Walt. Hi everyone. Hello Ron. We are now waiting for JetBlue Airways flight 765 from JFK, and it is just about a minute away. If you're just joining us, we're coming to you live from Grand Cayman at Owen Roberts International Airport. Let me make sure our clock is correct. I can't see the clock. 10:27. Yeah, that's correct. Sometimes when we go to a foreign land, our clocks get reset. But 10:27 here, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds coming out of the east at about 17 miles an hour. And there you see some of the traffic on the road below us. Harry Else, or Harry the T, I can't see. Will there be any big airplanes like the 747 at this airport, or do they not get them? I believe the biggest aeroplane that we see here at Owen Roberts on a regular basis is British Airways. I believe it's a 777. We saw it last time we were here. It comes in, it comes in from London by way of Jamaica. So it stops in Jamaica and then hops over here. So I think here's the JetBlue plane. We'll lose sight of it because we've got some obstructions, but then we'll see it land right in front of us. So very tropical with palm trees in the foreground. And O'Malley says 777 flights. I guess I was right about that. And I'll have to check to see what time that comes in. I believe it'll be during our broadcast, but I'm not sure. I wanted to come here in the morning because lighting is better in the morning. So we're now in position to bring you the arrival of the JetBlue plane from Newark. I'm sorry, from JFK. And I would like to give special thanks to the commissioner of Runway DFW, Mrs. Runway DFW, for saying, go ahead and do your silly show. I told her I'd be back this afternoon. But Mrs. Runway DFW, very supportive of this little hobby of mine. That flight from New York, 3 hours and 15 minutes. So it comes back to the terminal. All the gates are open air. Although when we came in earlier, well, we came in on Saturday. It's just air stairs for American Airlines, but I think it was United that had it was like an air stair, but it had a cover over it. Like, if it was raining, you'd have some protection until you landed or until you got to the bottom of the stairs. Maybe they'd hand you an umbrella then, I don't know. And then there was another airline that might have been Delta, which had a ramp, like a zigzag ramp. And perhaps there was somebody on board who was mobility impaired. So it's nice to have that as an option. I'm going to follow this plane along because there's nothing else going on here right now. Although, as I said, we should be getting some more activity over the next couple of hours. So JetBlue pulling in, its passengers will be going through customs. They have kind of an semi-automated customs. You go to a screen and you look at it and it takes a picture of you and you fill in some information. And then it prints out this little entry card. Then you do have to go through an agent, but it's pretty... Considering there were a lot of flights arriving at the time we came in, it was fairly efficient. Larry Brown says, Commissioner, she's a saint. We're talking about Mrs. Runway DFW. Yes. O'Malley says, British Airways arriving at 4:10 p.m. So we will not see that on this broadcast. We did catch it on our previous broadcast, which was looking at things from the other side of it. Well, actually from the balcony of that round-topped building there. So we're in a better position to see it coming in because the sun was behind us. There's Chuck Tolsma says, hello Walt, what a nice surprise. A few trains, that says, we love Mrs. Runway DFW. Well, you're not the only one. Thank you. Tim Heasley says, I'm glad you took some time off. It's nice to see a different airport. Have great travels. Thank you, Tim. As you can see, we have not one, not two, but 3 cameras here for you on this broadcast. We have a new member, I see. Chuck TXK. From Texarkana. Now, that may be... Here's the thing. I do not have the ability to watch the live broadcast back because we're so limited on bandwidth here that I don't want to take anything away from the stream that we're putting out. So I can't look back at our primary broadcast. So you may see something different on the screen than I see. But we're hoping it all goes well. O'Malley with some tidbits. What was that? Cayman Airways has flights from JFK, Miami, Tampa Bay, Denver, LAX. Well, he says DFW. O'Malley, there is no current service on Cayman Airways from DFW. They have served it in the past, but I think it's been a couple of years since we've seen any Cayman Airways flights as we look at some groundskeeping going on along the single runway here at Owen Roberts Airport. Scanning the skies now for our next arrival. And that is going to be Cayman Airways flight 2621 from Montego Bay in Jamaica. That is, will be a MAX 8, and it will be coming to us in about 10 or 11 minutes. So yeah, we're kind of laid back here as far as what we can show you and how much there is to see, but we'll take a look at the sites as we can. We did look earlier, I think this was before we had audio, at this Carnival cruise ship, or at least part of it. At least do they still call it the smokestack? I guess they do. In the harbor at Georgetown, the capital here. But we're kind of looking through a lot of buildings there, so we can just see the top of the ship. I guess, is that more of the ship here to the right? I can't tell if that's the ship. Yeah, maybe that is. Never been on a cruise ship, as we were saying before, and I don't know if this was on the live. This was pre-audio or not. There is to be a vote coming up here in a few days on the 30th of April, where Caymanians will be asked to say yay or nay to plans to build a cruise ship port, or to make the port, to expand the port, or to dredge the harbor so that ships can come right in and dock right in Georgetown, because right now they have to park a little bit away from the harbor and launch tenders to bring passengers to shore. So there's a lot of advertising for that. Most of the advertising you've seen is in favor of cruise ships, yes, because it's a big part of the economy here, but there are concerns about that have been expressed about whether dredging the harbor will stir up sediment that could then have a negative impact on the coral reefs, which are a big tourist attraction here. So, and once again, we are expecting the next Cayman Airways MAX 8 now in about 7 minutes, so stand by for that. Chuck Tolsma says, I visited Grand Cayman on a cruise ship stop. Yeah, it's a popular stop. I mean, the argument for improving the harbor is that cruise ships might cease coming here. They might not stop here if it's not convenient for them. So, and 10 Lightstar 01 says they have to dredge so the ship can come closer. Chuck TXK says, have you partaken of the Cayman lemonade? Well, I don't drink, so I have not. All I've had is water and Coca-Cola since I've been here, which is fine with me. But they do have a number of island-oriented drinks. Well, here's Charlene. Wanted Commodore. Oh, well, you can be the Commodore. Oh, okay, you're the Commodore of Runway DFW. But she says, I guess I'm like Commissioner Gordon. Walt is Batman. Texas Girl is Robin when she feels like it. Well, Charlene is off to go swimming. And I will be joining her there shortly. Well, in a couple hours. We'll have an afternoon swim together. She is a very adept snorkeler. Charlene's been coming here since probably the 1980s. Before we even met. Okay, 4 minutes away now from our next airplane. This is different than DFW. DFW, or even Love Field, you've got planes coming in just every couple of minutes, or in DFW's case, sometimes every minute you've got a plane going out or coming in, or both. But here, much smaller airport, and there are kind of two waves of arrivals and departures. Here in the morning to early afternoon, and then late afternoon. So after the, let's see, do we have? The JetBlue A320, which we saw come in earlier, is already back on the radar. I guess they'll be turning that flight around pretty quickly. I think the American Airlines flight we were on has a 1 hour turnaround time. Although we did have an incident, well, it wasn't an incident, but when we, usually as you're coming in for arrival, the flight attendants hand out the card you need to fill in to present to the customs authorities. Well, they didn't have any of those cards on this flight, because it's only a once-a-week flight. And so they handed out the cards after we landed, but said you had to fill them out before you could get off the plane. And we did not have a pen with us. Normally I have a pen in my pocket, or Charlene has one in her purse, but neither of us had a pen. And they said, you can't get off the plane until you fill this out. So the people who are sitting across the aisle from us were gracious enough to loan us their pen, because they had all filled their cards out, and so we made off with their pen. So I thank that couple for letting us use their writing instrument. We should be very shortly in sight of the next Cayman Airways arrival. About a minute away. We should see it in the sky here very shortly. Kimberly March Shore with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Kimberly. Hello from my husband Matthew and me from Hampton, Virginia. I grew up in Nacogdoches, so a Texan. Thank you so much for that. So we can now see Once again, there's a MAX 8 of Cayman Airways coming in from Montego Bay, man. Ryan Paulding says, hey Walt, looks like the Cayman Airport has the same relaxing vibes as the Caribbean itself. So we're going to lose sight of this plane for about 20 or 30 seconds, and then we will see it roar in here on the single runway at Cayman Island. A few trains that says need to get some Runway DFW branded pens. Yeah, I do need some kind of souvenirs or something. O'Malley says, when arriving in the Cayman, set your clock to Central Daylight Time and your calendar back 20 years. Well, you know, that used to be the case here, but Cayman has really changed since I first came here. I mean, you're not lacking for anything here as far as goods or services. The only problem is that it is not inexpensive to live here or to purchase things here. There is a Foster's supermarket right across the street from the airport, right across the airport from us. That appears to be the place to go. Now we've been to, that's the third Foster. We haven't been to this one. There is one in a place called Cayman Bay, which it's really quite incredible. It's not a backwater grocery store by any means. It's got just about anything you would want to get. And because everything here in the Cayman Islands, pretty much almost everything has to be imported, you'll get a wide variety of products. Like the other morning, I had some toast. I made toast after we went shopping. I made some toast. The bread was made here in Cayman, of course, from ingredients that were sourced elsewhere. The butter was from New Zealand. The jam was from the UK. And the Coca-Cola I was drinking with it was bottled in Puerto Rico. So it's just a lot of a wide variety of things here, some of which you don't see in other locales. So once I've got that gabbing out of the way, check out the Cayman Airways plane as it comes into the terminal. There's Michelle O.S. Hello, Michelle. I feel so tropical. Yeah, I like to be able to get palm trees in the shot so you can tell that this is not DFW Airport. Somebody was saying in the chat, the grass here puts DFW Airport to shame. It does rain here on a fairly regular basis, although generally, it's one of those things where you usually get some afternoon showers and then they go away. But everything is nice and green. We're broadcasting with our portable setup today. a camera or a tripod that can fit in a regular size suitcase. Well, 2 tripods actually. And then a carry-on bag with all the movie-making gear. 2 cameras, our little transmission device, a sound mixer, and a bunch of batteries. Not as many batteries as we usually have. So there you see 3 of the Cayman Airways fleet of MAX 8s. Lori Smith says, I think I found you on maps. Are you at the City Plaza? Stalker alert. LOL. Yes, we are at the City Plaza. And that's how I found this place on Google Maps. I'd never been here before. In fact, I'd never been to this side of the airport before. And so the Commodore and I stopped by on Sunday, not expecting to see anybody here because it was Easter Sunday, but we found somebody who was closing up shop here at the Glow Nails and Spa and said, yeah, no problem. You know, I asked about filming here, and they said, no problem, I'll let my boss know. And I came back this morning to just double check, and that's why I didn't have any preview of this stream, because I wasn't sure that we were for sure going to be able to present it to you. But yeah, everything's working out so far. Brian Paulding says, and there's no temporary permanently fence obscuring the beautiful grass and palm trees. Absolutely beautiful. Well, you know what I did before I came over here today? I went over to, I guess it's their equivalent of Founders Plaza. It's called Airport Park. It's exactly opposite from us here on the other side of that windsock. And there's a little park there, and there are some, there's like some bleachers there for sports events. And if you climb on top of the bleachers, you can kind of see over the fence, but there's a double chain link fence there. Tri-jet action for you here on Runway DFW at large. One snuck up on me because it was not, I don't think that was on the, maybe that was on the radar. I just got too busy gabbing. So that is a Dassault Falcon 50 coming in from Beaumont, Texas, of all places. We lose it because we, well, I guess it's going to turn here so we can see it. Where'd it go?
1993.
I didn't expect we'd be able to do any salutes today, but there you go, 1993 for that Dassault Falcon Tri-Jet. There are a lot of interesting vehicles here if you're a vehicle spotter. Because, well, for one reason, the cars drive on the left side of the road, as we've pointed out, because of the British heritage here. There you see some of the traffic. There's just a lot of vehicles and some brands that you just don't see in the States. We are driving a Suzuki, I think it's a Ciaz, C-I-A-Z. It's a 4-door sedan, very generic, or as a rental car. And of course, Suzuki stopped exporting to the U.S. several years ago. Maybe more than 10 years ago. We still see some Suzukis on the road in the U.S., but not too much. Looks like we've got a Hawker 800 XP about to check in. It has no origination information listed, but we will bring that to you next here on the channel. Brendan Rabbit says, I see they have Japanese K trucks. Yes, they do. They also have at least one Chinese brand here, Chang'an, I think is what it's called, Chang'an. I've seen SUVs and pickup trucks in the Chang'an brand. And we're waiting for the Hawker 800 XP now. Also, we see Renaults here. We don't see any Renaults in the U.S. anymore. I think of some other kind of off-brands. But of course, as you might expect in a place which is which attracts wealthy people the way this country does, there's a lot of luxury cars here as well. So Audi and Mercedes and whatnot. So that plane originated somewhere in Florida. Looks like Martin County Airport in Florida, near Stuart, Florida, according to the map. American Flight 1300 from Miami is now 3 minutes away. That'll be a 737-800. American, I believe, operates at least a couple of flights daily to Miami, maybe as many as 3. 10 Light Star 01 says is one of the islands is driving on the opposite side of the road. Yes, driving is on the opposite side of the road. It takes a little getting used to, but you know, after a little while you just do get used to it. The thing you don't get used to here is the number of roundabouts, or as we might say in other parts of the world, traffic circles. They take a little bit of adjustment, although traffic does flow very nicely with those traffic circles. Right, so as we watch this tri-jet, we've got the American Airlines 737 on approach, final approach. Should be within our vision just moments from now here on Runway DFW. little reminder right at the top of the hour, you're watching Runway DFW at large today at Owen Roberts International Airport in Grand Cayman. Just 11 o'clock is the local time here. And it's there somewhere. Oh, there it is. We're about to lose it behind an obstruction. Lightstar 01 says a lot of the cruise ship islands use cars that are 40 years old to shuttle passengers around on the island. Well, I haven't seen any cars that old here, but on the other hand, I don't think we've ever rented a car that was new. They all have, 20 or 30,000 kilometers on the odometers. Hoot Doctor presenting the METAR. I have to take that out so we can see the plane coming in, so put that back in. So that's the type of plane we came in on from DFW on Saturday, 737-800. Our next arrival is going to be Delta Flight 600 from Atlanta. That'll be another 737-8. That Colin guy says, good late morning, Walt. Hope you're enjoying the island breeze. I am. It's very pleasant. Temperature's 81 degrees Fahrenheit. We're getting a nice breeze, and because we've got this nice patio deck to shoot from, everything is very pleasant. So no complaints, and thanks again to Glow Nails and Spa for letting us use this facility. Bill Platt with a $5 super chat. Fun fact, New Jersey is credited with having the first highway traffic circle in the United States. It's known as the Airport Circle. Thank you for that information, Bill, and for your kind super chat. Much appreciated. And that Colin guy says, do I spy a cruise ship in the distance of that shot? Well, yeah, as the plane was coming in, there's a cruise ship there. We'll show that again to you. The Delta flight from Atlanta now about 9 minutes away. It'll be another 737. And then right behind the Delta flight, it's going to be a Cessna Citation XLS coming in from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I appreciate your spending some time with us today on this Wednesday morning here in what is equivalent to the Central Time Zone. Actually, it's the Eastern Standard Time Zone as well. So yeah, no jet lag for the Commodore and myself. I'm guessing that the east wind must be prevailing from here because I looked at a satellite image of the runway here, And you can tell by the tire marks on the runway that almost every flight is touching down from the, well, actually touching down from the west to the left of us. I think we have some gifted memberships, and I believe that is from Michelle R.S. I say I believe because I'm not able to see everything I normally see. So let me see if I can. I'm worried about taking up too much bandwidth. Oh. Well, I know from the sounds we've got a lot of new members. Delta flight now 6 minutes off, so we'll keep you informed about that arrival. Okay, so now I can say with authority that it was Michelle RF gifting 10 Runway DFW memberships. Thank you, Michelle. And our new members include Colleen Walsh, Dave NLR, Holly WV, West Virginia, I guess, Heath Rowe All Day, Tito's Classic, Christine Barnes, Bobby Digital, Dr. C, Mr. Cheese, and Stephanie Hutchison. So thanks again to Michelle RS. Our friend Raina Taylor is on board with us. Hello, Walton, everyone. Hello, Raina. I'm going to get in position now to see that Delta plane approacheth. Oh, so we're talking about that cruise ship, and so as we look towards the west here, the Georgetown Harbor, yes, that is, I believe, a Carnival cruise ship. You can see the smokestack there with downtown Georgetown in the foreground. Flying right over us now, I don't think we can see it, is a Delta A350-900 on its way from Lima, Peru to Atlanta. That's about 38,000 feet above us. I'm looking to the sky. I don't see it. Sometimes you can see the contrails of a plane like that. Not seeing it today. And here we go, watching intently for the arrival of the Delta 737-800. And wow, this next plane will just miss the cut on the 20th century planes. It was delivered in June of the year 2000, so it's one of the older Delta planes coming in. Grayscale strategy identifying that ship as the Carnival Horizon that we looked at just a second ago. Apparently that is one of the newer members of the fleet. So just moments from now we will see a twin jet touching down here at Owen Roberts International Airport in Grand Cayman. Beaker and Honeydew, a moderator and channel member. Sorry we are late. Work, work, work. Liberator 74 says ships plus planes loving us. Oh, we've got cars and trucks too. We've got the planes, trains, and automobiles. Well, we don't have any trains, sorry. Planes, ships, and automobiles. I would like to say at this time, belated by one day, happy birthday to Kevin of Airline Videos Live. A friend of this channel, a friend of Av Geeks everywhere. Kevin, happy 50th birthday. And Kevin, if you're feeling bad about being 50, just remember that on the day you were born, I was a full-time TV news photographer. In the queue to arrive here, I now see Southwest Flight 912 coming in from Orlando. It'll be a 737-700. And we're about now to see finally the Delta plane coming in from Atlanta. Here on Runway DFW, live in the Cayman Islands. You see in the foreground an electioneering sign. As we've mentioned earlier, there are general elections coming up here in the Cayman Islands on the 30th of April. And not long from now, in about 2 minutes, we'll be seeing the Cessna Citation XLS coming in from Fort Lauderdale. That'll be a 19-year-old plane. Trip from Fort Lauderdale taking just an hour and 8 minutes. was kind of waiting. This plane went all the way to the end of the runway, and I wish we could show you the end of the runway from here, but our situational location does not allow that. I mean, it's not against the rules. I mean, if I held the camera out over the balcony, you could see the North Bay, what they call the Grand Sound. Well, here comes the Delta flight, and we're gonna swing around here in just, well, right now actually. We'll swing around to bring you this private jet arrival. So again, next we're going to show you something that we don't see at DFW Airport. Southwest Airlines arriving from Orlando, 737-700. That will be followed by American Airlines Flight 301, another 737-800 from Charlotte, one of the American Airlines hubs. And right behind that, United Flight 2119 from Newark, coming in on a MAX 9. So you're here in time to see all the action from Owen Roberts Airport, Owen Roberts International Airport in Grand Cayman. Richard Reichart says hello from New York City, or good afternoon from New York City. Good afternoon to you. Kimberly March Shore says happy belated birthday from Matthew and me to Kevin of Airline Videos. I am Hot Dog. Says no matter what, you can't escape the sweet sound of an engine braking. El Toro 66 says Cayman has semis. Yes, they do. Well, you know, everything comes in to Cayman. Almost everything is imported. Most of the imported goods come in on here. I think this plane is taking off. I don't think we'll get to see it much beyond this, based upon our location. Yeah, that's about it. You know, almost no location for airport spotting is perfect, but this one's pretty good. I'm not complaining. Well, anyway, as I was saying, almost everything here comes in either on a cargo ship or on a plane, because they just don't make that much of anything in Cayman. As far as, well, one thing you will see a lot of is chickens. It's as though, I don't know if chickens are sacred here or not, but they're wandering around everywhere, in grocery parking lots, around hotels, on the street. When I was over at the park across from us, the airport park, I don't think we can see any of the chickens in the shot, but they were all underfoot. In fact, I tried to do a live stream from over there just to kind of preview today's action, but I couldn't get a signal for some reason. So, all right, here comes the one is this? Oh, this is the Southwest plane. We didn't get to see its approach, but we will get to see it land here. Southwest Flight 912 from Orlando, Florida on runway DFW. There's Brian Henry. Hi, Walt. What a treat. Thank you, Brian. Beaker and Honeydew, if you're interested in the equipment we use, check out the description. I don't think I have it in the description of this broadcast yet, but look at our other broadcasts and you'll see it. Twenty-two-year-old 737-700. An hour and 23-minute flight from Orlando. And there it is, crossing paths with a Cessna Citation XLS. Is that right? Oh, I guess that came in earlier and it was waiting for an opportunity to taxi down the runway to go to its port of call here. So we saw this one arrive a few minutes ago. 5 minutes ago to be exact. So yeah, there's no taxiways along this runway. Just, well, no taxiways parallel to the runway, I should say. All right, American Flight 301 from Charlotte is approaching. I don't know if you can hear the breeze. Wind out of the east at 17 miles an hour. And we are now looking to the west where the planes are coming in. And I don't see it yet. Oh, I do see it. And as I mentioned earlier, we've got the United Flight 2119 from Newark. A MAX 9 will be coming in behind this American aircraft. The question arises, are you selling merch and t-shirts, socks, hats on your YouTube channel? Yes, you will. You should see it there. I think it's kind of a more or less a permanent fixture of our YouTube page. We got a modest selection of shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs. The Reno Air Retro will be there in about 40 minutes. We'll be able to catch. Yeah, we should be here if everything, if all our batteries and internet connection holds out. And so far, it seems to be going well. That's an American Airlines special livery. All right, here comes our next American aircraft. I should give a shout out to this tripod. This tripod, our main camera is on it. It's one of those portable ones you can pack up into a small enough size to fit in a regular size suitcase. So you don't need a separate big bag to check. And it's lightweight but sturdy. It's made by Cayer, C-A-Y-E-R. I think that's how it is. It's a carbon fiber tripod. It's very nice. Kai is here. One of our mods says, Runway DFW, hello Walt. Nice view you got there. I agree. And thanks again to Glow Nails and Spa here on the south side of the airport for letting us use their balcony. The random spotter, there's Luke, says woohoo, lunchtime Runway DFW from Grand Cayman Owen Roberts International Airport. Random spotter, one of our other mods. And Random says, that palm tree in the foreground gives me the feeling of being back in Guam at my #1 spotting location there. Yes, you must check the Random Spotter channel. He does get around, I think most recently in San Diego, with some live streams and other good aviation content, so always fun to see what Luke is up to. Well, it's about time to turn our camera around to see the United plane coming in from Newark. And once again, this will be a MAX 9. Our first MAX 9 of the day. We've seen several MAX 8s. There's the main terminal building. Bill Platt with a $5 super chat says, how much parking does this tiny airport have? Planes keep coming and absolutely nothing departs, cramming them in. Well, it's like a lot of smaller airports. You have planes coming in, and then they go out. And, some connections are made. Cayman Airways especially makes connections to its other Cayman Islands destinations of Cayman Brac and Grand and Little Cayman. But yeah, I was here around 9 o'clock and it was like almost nothing happening this morning. It really only kind of fires up at about 10:25. All right, so now I do believe I see the United plane in sight. Also coming in, we've got a Saab 340 from Cayman Brac. That's always fun to see. That'll be Cayman Airways. And also a FedEx feeder from Miami, an ATR 72. So you propeller fans, stand by. All right, our MAX 9 is coming up. And for you METAR heads out there, there's the Grand Cayman METAR weather as of 11 o'clock from Wood Doctor. Thank you. So it'll be another minute or two before we can see that again. In the meantime, our next arrival is going to be Cayman Airways Express. An ambulance. Cayman Airways Express Saab 340B arriving from Cayman Brac. Wood Doctor says Saab 340 arrives at DFW once in a while. Not sure if ATR does. Yeah, we've seen one of the cargo carriers at DFW, Ameriflight, I think it is, flies at least one Saab in and out of DFW. Haven't seen an ATR there in a while, though. Bill Platt says that was a very American siren. Yeah, you would expect it to be more Euro, like. Ladies and gentlemen, my impression of a continental siren. So we are looking now for a Saab. I don't know, it may come in lower than the jets. Maybe we won't even see it from this angle. I want to thank you again for finding us here. I know this was kind of an unplanned? No, it wasn't unplanned. It was unannounced, I guess you could say, because I didn't know if we'd get final approval to broadcast from this location, so I didn't want to overpromise and underdeliver, so. and I'm recording this in a higher resolution. I may put it in as a high definition replay. Technically, we are not broadcasting in high definition according to YouTube because 720p doesn't make the cut. Well, there's some palm trees. And as I kind of expected, the plane is coming in lower. There it is. Yeah, it's coming in lower than the jets did. So we'll get a better look at that sob here momentarily. Bill Platt says quality still looks good though. Yeah, it's not terrible. We might be subject to dropped frames and breakups and things like that. Of service here. As you might expect, live broadcasting uses a lot of data. So I want to make sure I don't run out. All right, next on our arrival is the aforementioned ATR 72-600 freighter. It'll be FedEx, operated by Empire Airlines. United Jet. Well, it's the taxiing procedure here. It's like almost as long as DFW Airport. Well, this is obviously not a big airport. Let's see if we can get a shot of this ATR here. Martin Saxton says, I see a British Airways 777-200 due in later. Is that the only wide-body operator? Grand Cayman, and currently it is. I don't know what the history of is. JB says the ATR-72, one of the most commonly used. We're about to see it touching down here at Owen Roberts International Airport. That's fun to see. There's that Saab. And we're going to give that Saab a salute.
$19.97.
That's a 27-year-old Saab 340B. Now blocked by all those other aircraft over there. Let's see, we have anything else on the radar? Well, not at the moment. Probably be seeing some planes going out. Oh, there's one. It's one of the Cayman Airways MAX 8s. And let's take a look at this here while we can. Pretty big plane. What's happening there? Oh, I see. Okay. Well, you know what we should do now? We should give thanks to our many kind members whose contributions help us to do broadcasts like this every now and again. So let's fire this up here. Take out that clock. And we'll put this in, see if it works, to say thank you to all of our Runway DFW members. There it comes. The list is topped off, as always, by our official channel sponsor, James Webb. Thank you so much, James, for all of your incredible contributions and underwriting of this channel. Thank you, James. Now we will enunciate for you, our QuadJet channel members. This list was prepared last night, or was it this morning? I guess it was this morning at 1 a.m. I think. Is that what it says? Yes, 1 a.m. So if you're a new member, watch for your name on an upcoming stream. Here we go. 757 ship, QuadJet channel member. Airplanes FRA. Alan J. Angela Smith. Anna the dispatcher. Beaker and Honeydew. Bev A. Bill Platt. Chuck Cam, a new QuadJet member. Thank you, Chuck. Cubs win. Oh, I'm going to have to... bail out of our thank yous there to bring you the de Havilland Twin Otter coming in from Little Cayman. That's Cayman Airways Express flight 4718. And that is a plane that we don't even have a jingle for. It's so old. It's a 49-year-old aircraft. Do I have a night? I don't think I have anything going back that far. No. Sing it to yourself, I guess. So anyway, my apologies to our Quadjet channel members whose names I did not get to. I'll do better next time. All right, so this should be Flight 882 going to La Ceiba. And I think it's going to roll down to the east end of the runway and then turn around and then take off. It's a MAX 8. And there is Sir Turtle, the peg-legged pirate turtle who is the symbol of Cayman Airways. The electric company here also has a turtle as its mascot. It's like a turtle clutching a lightning bolt and looking very startled. There's the background of our shot with downtown Cayman, or downtown Georgetown, I should say. So this plane's going to turn around where all those jet blast barriers are located. Right along the edge of a road, as you can probably tell. So this will be our first jet takeoff of the day, I think. And coming up behind it, looks like we'll have Flight 104 Cayman Airways to Miami, another MAX 8. Well, one added bonus today, we've got stereo audio as for our natural sound because of our setup here today. How much of this will we see? Well, got it kind of going off the ground, but well, there is Flight 104, another MAX 8. Cayman Airways. This one going to Miami. I see the JetBlue A320 now on the radar. It will be going to JFK. And because we see planes going this direction on the runway, we don't have any incoming flights currently. There's Barbara P. Sterling. Nice airport. Thank you, Barbara. Always good to see you in the chat. Bill Platt, emphasizing that we are in stereo. Patrick Seuss says this is the live stream of the year 2025. Well, I don't know about that, but we have a nice close-up look of the colorful tail of the Cayman Airways aircraft, reflecting the flag of the country. See the British heritage with the, what is that called, a griffin there on the top of the tail. Bigger and Honeydew has to reboot. Oh no. So far I have avoided that fate here in our remote setup. Our batteries are holding up well. We don't have as many reserve batteries as we normally would, because we're kind of limited as what you can lug around on an airplane these days. I'm seeing here that we have dropped a handful of frames, so if you have any interruption in your broadcast, I apologize for that. We're doing the best we can given the resources that are available to us. And scene, as they say in the movies. Off to Miami goes Cayman Airways Flight 104. Here we are on the balcony of Glow Nails and Spa. And we're happy to be with you on this Wednesday. Well, unfortunately, the cargo door on that ATR is on the side that's away from us, so we can't get any of that action for you. We've got a Hawker. Is this right? No, this is a Bombardier Challenger 300 on its way to Houston, Texas. Operated by a company called Vista America. This is a 16-year-old aircraft. We might actually see this one get up in the air because it won't probably need as much runway as the big jets do. Should you just happen to be joining us, this is Runway DFW at large, live from Owen Roberts International Airport in Grand Cayman in the Cayman Islands. We were here once before, last November, on airport property itself that time. This time, we are across the way from the airport terminal on the second floor balcony of a business which has kindly let us utilize their space for our broadcast. So thanks once again to Glow Nails and Spa Luxury Salon here on Crewe Road. The JetBlue A320 going back to JFK is now pushed back, and we'll be seeing that taking off shortly. I'm guessing that one of the reasons they scheduled these flights, in batches of coming in and then going out is because of this single runway without a parallel taxiway. So the planes, the outgoing planes, have to utilize the taxiway to get to the end of the runway, which makes it hard for planes to land. So a screamer. So it's JetBlue's turn now. And it probably won't be long before we see American Airlines flight 2602, is that right? No, American Flight 351 going back to Charlotte. That is now on the radar, as is Cayman Airways Flight 2602 to Kingston, Jamaica, MAX 8. So I don't know, is this the only Airbus plane we'll see today? It's possible. So pretty good variety here. Cayman Airways, JetBlue, United, American, Delta. Regrettably, we won't be here to see British Airways later this afternoon. Darlene Monroe from South Africa says, "Hey, Walt, nice to be able to catch one of your streams outside of your after dark ones. For me, our early morning hours." Nice airport. It is just a small tropical airport. Bill Platt says, "Believe it or not, Vista America, which we saw earlier, has a fleet of 360 jets." Wow. Did do some window rattling. Wood Doctor says that JetBlue is taxiing at 38 knots according to Flight Radar 24. That's a pretty fair clip. Baker and Honeydew says, reminds us that it's the top of the hour. Is it then? You're watching Runway DFW at large, live from Owen Roberts International Airport in Grand Cayman. My name is Walt, and we'll be here with you, I guess, probably for another hour, 90 minutes or so, if our gear holds up. So happy to be with you on this Wednesday, now afternoon, here in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. And once again, we're coming to you from the balcony of the Glow Luxury Salon here on Crewe Road in Grand Cayman. There you see the main terminal at Owen Roberts Airport, from which we broadcast last time we were here. So now we're giving you a little different view of things. And it looks like our next arrival is going to be United Flight 551. No, I take that back. Our next arrival is going to be this plane, which I didn't see on the radar. So looks like that was an Embraer Praetor 600. And it took off from the Cincinnati area, according to Flight Radar. Meanwhile, there's I believe that's Cayman Airways flight number 2602 to Kingston, Jamaica. And right in front of us, we've got an Embraer Praetor 600, destination unspecified. Anna the Dispatcher, one of our mods and QuadJet channel members. Thank you, Anna. Says, Walt, that Praetor took off for KLUK, Lunken, Cincinnati Airport. Never heard of that one. Lunken. See, you learn something new every day, and I credit our mods and our viewers for enlightening me. Barbara P. Sterling says, Walt, lovely traveling for you. Jealous. Well, we're very lucky to have enough advantage miles to be able to splurge on a trip here. But there's a special meaning for us this island has, because it's where Mrs. Runway DFW and I, the Commodore as I like to call her, got married in the year 1999 on New Year's Day. This jet, oh, there it comes. Kind of lost it in there. If only they would bank left right away, we would be able to see them rise into the sky. All right, there's flight 2602 Cayman Airways to Kingston, Jamaica, a MAX 8. So it will parade down the runway here. I don't even know the runway, because there's only one runway. I haven't even looked up the designation of this runway. Let's see if I can see it on the old satellite map. So they're taking off on runway 08. And there, I think behind that plane you can see American Airlines lining up to go back to Charlotte. Say hello to Sir Turtle. I believe that sticker under the cockpit says something about first in the Caribbean with 737-800s. And of course that's a MAX 8. Island Jenny says, aloha, everyone. Aloha seems like an appropriate greeting for an island, even though we're nowhere near Hawaii. Looking at the map, we're, what is that? I can't read it. 1,348 miles to the southeast of DFW Airport. And as you can see on the map, we're south of Havana. east of the Yucatan Peninsula. And I think we've got a situation currently where this plane is parked over in the turn lane because we have United Flight 551 coming in from Houston Intercontinental Airport. This will be a 737-800. And I'm looking to see if I can get you a preview shot of it here. 23-year-old 737. It'll be out of our view here momentarily as we wait for it to go around a pole. Wind picking up here a little bit. Wind at, last time I checked, 16 miles an hour coming out of the east. 81 degrees Fahrenheit here on a beautiful Wednesday. Got some patchy clouds. Clouds seem to move in the afternoon here. And if you look out over the sea, sometimes you'll see what looks like rain. That non-updated United Airlines livery. Bill Platt says, I'm starting to see this airport's workflow. Pack it in, empty it, pack it in, empty it. Rinse, repeat. Makes a lot of sense. That's pretty much all you can do if you got one runway and a limited, fairly limited terminal area. Flight 2602 to Kingston, Jamaica, a MAX 8, Cayman Airways, making the turn. So this plane has to wait for the United plane to get off the runway at the end. It looks like, I can't tell if there is a parking spot for it over there. Obviously we do not have air traffic control for you today. Not sure about the regulations here in Cayman, so I didn't want to break any as far as rebroadcasting the air traffic control. So regrettably, I don't think we're going to see too much more than it kind of starting to take off. There it goes. And there's the United plane, which is now on the way to the terminal. And before it gets there, American Flight 351 to Charlotte is going to pull out and begin to make its way to the end of runway 8. We've got a Bombardier Challenger 350 coming in from Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, Bill Platt. It's due in about 2 minutes. It may have to circle round while this, wow, look at this thing go. This is a fast, it's what you call a fast taxi. Not quite escape velocity, but it's not wasting any time getting to the other end of the runway. So we'll go to its assigned parking spot there to wait for the arriving plane to come in. The New Jersey plane coming in from Teterboro, 3 hours and 11 minutes in flight so far. Raina Taylor says, you're right near Jamaica, and I was there when I was 7 years old. And I was there on my vacation back then. You know, they're going to let this thing take off? Maybe it will. Yeah, they're going to let this take off right away ahead of that incoming Challenger. I hope you're appreciating the stereo sounds of planes taking off and landing. Stan Johnstone says Carnival Horizon cruise ship in the background. Yes, we have noted that earlier, but for those of you who are just tuning in, I'll give you a little closer look at that once my camera steadies. There it is. It's in port here. Clearly the Carnival Horizon. Because it says so right on there. So hello to all of our viewers who have not deboarded. And are watching us on that expensive Wi-Fi that they sell. Well, there's a little blurry view. We're right along a two-lane road, Crewe Road, here adjacent to the airport perimeter, and it gets loud sometimes with a lot of trucks and other motor vehicles. Colleen Walsh says, thanks to the kind person that allowed me to be gifted a membership. Did we get any more gifted memberships? Let me take a look here, because I don't want to miss any. Mr. Phil is here checking in from South Carolina. There's that Challenger arriving from New Jersey. And here's a look at the traffic below us. And if you weren't here earlier, yes, Cayman Islands is, look at that cute little minivan. Cayman Islands driving on the left. As is British tradition. A few trains out says that the cruise ship we saw a moment ago is off to Cozumel, Mexico later today, about 4 p.m. local time. Started in Miami on the 20th of April, gets back there on the 26th. Thank you for that info. A few trains out, as we pointed out earlier, one of our great quad or 4-year or 2-year members of the channel. We put our time clock back in there. Cement truck. Wanted. We put the right one in there. Yikes. There's that tri-jet we saw earlier. The Dassault. Okay, I see Just Plains Crazy has gifted us. Where'd it go? Where are you, Just Plains Crazy? There we go. The $1.49 Super Chat. Thank you so much. A pink umbrella on a beach. The beaches are very nice here, although, you know, the Commodore and I have found that since we were here last November, the sand has gotten very squishy. And by that I mean it's hard to walk on. And you know, sand is a little difficult to walk on to begin with, but it's like extra, like your feet go down further into the sand than we remember it being. Some seabirds looking for our lunch. They're on the grass next to the airport, or next to the runway, on airport grounds. Oh, do we have a catch there? I think we did. It's a little bit of Wild Kingdom. And I'm not, what is the word, ornithological enough to know what kind of birds those are. They do look very graceful. Long neck. So there I go, getting distracted by wildlife. Darlene Monroe says, well, do you mean the proper side of the road? Yes, I was saying was I saying the wrong side? I didn't mean, if I did, I didn't mean the wrong side. It's just they drive on the left here. Lance Cole says, Walt, yep, we Brits drive on the wrong side, but did you know the Swedish switch sides of the road in the 1950s? In 2 days, total pandemonium resulted. And yes, I do. I mean, I almost think I remember reading about it in real time. It was probably in the late 50s. But I do remember reading about it subsequently. And seeing, newsreel footage or whatever they had back in the day of that. And, wow, that was quite a move. I guess it was just to put them in sync with the rest of the continent. Oh, Stan Johnstone says, white birds. White birds. Those were white birds. Thank you, Stan. I couldn't quite put my finger on the accurate ornithological description. All right, our next arrival. Do we have a next arrival? We do. IBC Airways. That's a new one for me. With another Saab 340A. It's a freighter. Coming in from Miami. Be here in about 10 minutes. Always good to see the Saabs. But IBC Airways, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Let's take a look at the control tower here. There it is. Kind of a squatty one. Maybe 4 stories tall, if that. But, everything is flat here and just one runway. That'll give you a good view of the whole thing. Ron Sees America and Mr. Phil agree that those were egrets that we were looking at. So I thank you for enlightening us. Take a look at them again. Brave Kumquat says, I was in Grand Cayman scuba diving as a much younger man in the late 1980s, and I'll tell you, I would not be able to identify it based on this feed. Incredible growth. Looks great. Some very modern... I may have to do one of my at-large live streams from the Foster's supermarket. It's pretty impressive. And as I said earlier, there is a Foster's across the street from us, but I think and there it is there. It looks like a pretty big one. I've not been in this one before. But the one they have in Kamana Bay is just almost jaw-dropping. It's got everything. Daryl Ann says we get cattle egrets in South Africa too. They are indigenous to Africa. Cool. Sivith says popcorn and airplanes. Good afternoon from Michigan. We're glad to have you with us. And Wood Doctor says they serve root beer on IBC Airways. Yeah. Well, you can probably, if they still make IBC root beer, you can probably find it at Foster's. We were talking about it earlier in the broadcast, and because everything, well actually, let me look over here for a second. We can see some cargo being lifted off ships. We can't actually see the ship, but you can see the cranes there. And I'm sure they're in operation day and night, because this little island relies almost entirely on imports for food and for consumer goods and vehicles. A few trains, that says, if you want confusion, railways in Europe don't always match the side of the road that cars drive on. Belgium, Switzerland, Italy, Japan, and India have left-hand railway running. Well, of course, Japan does have left-hand roads, or the driving's on the left in Japan, so that probably makes sense there. Ron C says it's been 30 years since I was last down there. I used to go every couple of years. Yeah, we had the Commodore and I had about a 10 or 12 year break from our, I think we looked it up and we had gone here in like 2008, and then we didn't return until last year. And things do change quite a bit. Looking there at Delta, and tell you a little more about that aeroplane. Delta Flight 1870 headed back to Atlanta. That's a 737-800. As we see American Flight 1480 pushing back, it is headed to Miami. That's another 737-800. And of course, that Southwest plane has been there for a bit. We expect to see that go before too long. Lance Cole says Saab made its first airliner 60 years ago. It was called the Scandia, a Swedish sort of DC-3 that sold well in South America, operated up to the 1970s. We've seen a couple times at Dallas Love Field a Saab. I can't remember what, I don't know if it was a 340. I think it was bigger than a 340. It's operated by a charter company in Texas, and we've seen it come in and out of there a couple of times. That's a passenger plane as opposed to a cargo plane, and it's quite cool looking. So that IBC plane is about 4 minutes away now. And once again, that's a Saab 340A coming in from, I want to say Miami. Yes, Miami. Joshua Leclerc says good afternoon. Hello, Joshua. Glad to see you here. Lance says the stretched Saab 340 is called the 2000. Yes, I think that's the one that I looked it up. It looked like the charter company had a couple of those in its fleet. As we go back and look at some more cargo being moved about in those big giant containers. I think we got blown off course there, didn't we? getting that windmill effect on our tripod. So it looks like the Delta and the American aircraft are waiting to move out from the terminal area, the terminal apron, pending the arrival of the IBC Airways plane. It's going to be a heavy box. Just to clue you in once again as to what you're looking at. And what happened to that camera? Interesting. Well, you're watching Runway DFW at large live from Grand Cayman in the Cayman Islands. Owen Roberts International Airport is where we are. And it's in by way of proxy, it's where you are. You see some of those fluffy white clouds in the sky to the, it looks like to the west of us. We're kind of looking in a westerly direction. Well, we're looking kind of towards the northwest here. But to the west of us, looks like there is some cloud cover moving in. So now we have an airport operations vehicle on patrol. Checking things out. Vehicle number 4. Making sure everything's A-OK. As we turn our attention to the east, we see that both the Delta and the American 737-800s are now headed towards the end of runway 8 for takeoff. And so the incoming flight, depending on how close it is, it's not far away. The incoming flight may have to circle around a little bit in order to create enough time for these 2 jets to get to the end of the runway. As Cole says, Saab 340 is still big in Outback Australia. Airline service, military version of Saab 2000 still in use. So here we go with these 2 jets doing a little end of runway ballet in order to make room for the incoming flight. Unless one of these gets the signal to turn and burn. Bill Platt, thank you for that $20 super chat. One more for your travel internet fees. Enjoy your time. Thank you for years of entertainment and just being a good human being. Well, thank you, Bill. I would put you into that category as well. So it looks like Delta is going to take off. The IBC Airways Saab 340 will just have to wait a little bit. That's the sound of a diesel-powered airplane. Just kidding. And once again, regrettably, we don't have the sight line to be able to bring you the takeoff of these larger jets as they head off. I think the American jet is... looks like it's going to have to wait for the incoming IBC cargo plane. I do see that the Southwest 737-700 is now pushed back. It will be headed back to Orlando, I believe. We're going to pull back to capture the Saab as it comes in here to Grand Cayman. Thank you to Anthony Guinan for a $5 super chat. Let there be root beer. I might have tasted just a drop of rain on my lips. I think I hear that FedEx ATR warming up as we look at the departure of American Flight 1480 to Miami, 737-800. Large in Grand Cayman. It's probably our fault. Off it goes to the sun and fun capital of the world. There's that FedEx cargo plane. It don't have a destination for that. I think we can see a plane. Where'd it go? There's a plane up there and I can't see it in my viewfinder. Can't make it out. Those of you with 80-inch TV screens might have been able to see it. Okay, here comes the Southwest 737-700 barreling down runway 8. And this aircraft again headed to Orlando. Once it makes a U-turn at the end of the runway. Want to get another look at that Saab. Not sure, but I thought I just heard some thunder. American Airlines Flight 956 is on approach from Miami. Be here in about 3 minutes. It's a 737-800. Our second American Airlines Miami arrival of the morning. Again, we got our tripod blowing in the wind. There's the flight from Miami. Making its final approach, and for that reason, the Southwest plane to Orlando is hanging loose. See how close is American. I guess I was gonna go in a little more on the IBC Saab, but we've got to let the American land here and then we'll see that. Bill Caldum says hello from South Arkansas. I'd rather be where you're at. It is very nice to be able to get away from it all for a little bit. Although I have to admit, I was missing doing some plane spotting, so as I said, the Commodore gave us special dispensation to have a stream. She's probably out there snorkeling right now. What doctor says IBC Airways has 10 Saab 340s, 2 Embraer ERJ-15, 108 DFW, as only 20. We losing our, seeing some distortion in our engine. Oh, I think we may be losing our signal. We're going to go as long as we can, but should this continue, well, I apologize. Let's see if we can see if this plane vectors over to the left here. See, I can see the plane by sticking my head over the railing here, but I can't share that view with you. Oh, it is vectoring to the left. Whoa, ho, look at this. It's just trucking. Another tri-jet getting ready to take off here. There's a Dassault Falcon 50. Destination specified. I messed up. That Dassault was headed to Houston, Texas. The plane we just saw is vectoring to the right. We will not see any more of that ATR. Excitement aplenty here at Owen Roberts Airport. Just kicked my tripod. And I seem to have lost my Flight Radar 24 coverage. And Honeydew is signaling that this is indeed the top of the hour. I think we're only going to be here for another as the mid-afternoon hours approacheth. Another service, and it too was not being very cooperative. And let me see if we can follow that plane into the sky depending on which way it turns. It is banking to the left. That it? No, that's not it. There it is. All right, I'm still here. I was just adjusting a few things, and I guess it's time to let you know once again where we are and what we're doing. You're watching Runway DFW at large, live and in color from Grand Cayman. Owen Roberts International Airport, to be specific. And where'd our music go? There it is. And we're kind of winding down here from our very nice viewpoint at Glow Nails and Spa, just outside their establishment here on Crewe Road on the south side of the airport. And we're just happy to have you with us today. Oh, I looped that one. Let me fade that out, and just to reset, here's where we are relative to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, where we normally are. We're 1,348 miles to the southeast on Grand Cayman Island, south of Cuba, east of the Yucatan Peninsula, and west of Jamaica. There is the terminal at Owen Roberts Airport. We just have two aircraft, or two mainline aircraft remaining there. Got an American and a United. And we've got some other smaller Cayman Airways Express planes behind it there. Yeah, my flight radar has not returned to service, so if we get surprised by a plane, I guess we'll be surprised by a plane. There's the official METAR from Wood Doctor. Thank you for that. Temperature 29 degrees Celsius, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Beaker and Honeydew notes that I'm having occasional internet issues, but good connection now, at least as of when that was sent a couple minutes ago. So yeah, I think our connection has deteriorated a little bit since we started. That's one of those things that happens when you're on a remote broadcast from a location you've never been to exactly before. We did broadcast from from that circular building. We were on the patio deck there last time over here, so which offers a very good view of the planes as they taxi in and get unloaded, and that's in our archive if you have any desire to see that. Nicholas says, good day, Walt Mods and the community. Thank you, Nicholas. Let me look at our well, no, I was going to look at our arrivals. We don't have any arrivals until, well, 1:18 is JetBlue estimated to come in from Boston on an A320. And that's going to be the only arrival until 3:25. As far as departures go, United's, you see the United jet there on the left, that's been pushed back from 1:35 to 1:48. So I think the JetBlue plane we're going to be seeing in a few minutes now will be our last of the broadcast. We'll pack things up and clear out this balcony for our gracious hosts at Glow Salon. So the JetBlue flight coming in from Boston, about 9 minutes away. There's that IBC Saab, partially photobombed by a helicopter. Oh, there's Charlene. Hello, Charlene. The Commodore. Time for a Goya ginger beer. It's a soft drink. It's pretty potent, though. That packs a punch, that Goya Jamaican style ginger beer. Did you have a swim, Charlene? I hope you did. So I do have the JetBlue flight on my radar now. See if there's anything else interesting to show you while we have a few minutes to kill. I guess while she's on the line, I should ask Charlene if she needs anything from Foster's, which is right across the street from the airport here. We hadn't seen this one before, and now I see it from this vantage point. So let me know if there's anything you need me to bring back to our hotel. Oh, I just swam with a turtle the same size as me. Yikes. That turtle was her size. It's pretty amazing to see these creatures floating around among you in the very clear waters of Cayman Islands. For those of you who missed it earlier, there's the superstructure of the Carnival ship, and I can't make out the name of it, can I? Carnival Horizon? Is that what it is? I think so. Big boat in harbor here at Georgetown. Leslie Joseph says greetings from Reno. Hello, Leslie. Ooh, 4 more ginger beers, please. Okay. So noted. It shall be acquired. Place your orders. Also seeing lots of parrotfish and angelfish. Yeah, it's like swimming in an aquarium when you get to a place like this with tropical fish all around you, and they're not shy. Apparently, some of them are accustomed to being fed by humans, and so they'll come right up to you, and they're not begging, but you know they'll make their presence known. And we are now allegedly 3 minutes away from the flight coming in on JetBlue. Brandon Rabbit says, Walt, I will have a pizza from the store, please. I don't know, have I ever had a pizza here? We've come to Cayman many times. I think we got a pizza once, maybe.
Do you want some water to drink?
Oh no, I've got some water. Thank you. I'm almost done, so I'll be out of your way soon.
No, that's fine. I wasn't going to ask if you wanted to share.
Oh, that's so nice. No, I'm good. I'm used to this. Thank you so much. That was one of the employees here at the nail salon, the Glow Salon, inquiring as to my well-being. That was so nice. People are very nice here. Beaker and Honeydew want some ginger beers too. Well, I think it's something you can get in the States. Somebody just gave us the finger. I'm glad that wasn't on TV. So I see another tri-jet parked back there. I don't think that's going to see any activity while we're here. Ooh, Doctor says, what is your favorite island speciality? I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm not a big seafood person, but when you've got, you know, fresh fish right out of the sea next door to you, it's never a bad bet. Had some red snapper the other day on our first dining out experience. Well, Beaker and Honeydew is saying that that car driving past us was telling me that I'm the #1 plane spotter in Grand Cayman. I didn't really think of it that way. But yeah, I guess, come to think of it, I don't know. Have there been any other live streams from Grand Cayman? I don't know. This is our second, so we're doing okay. I see some feet talk in there. Leslie Joseph says, what are the biggest planes landing at this airport? That would be the British Airways 777. It's come in later this afternoon, later than we have the opportunity to broadcast. It comes from London Heathrow by way of Jamaica, so it goes comes from London, lands in Jamaica, and then makes a short hop over here, and then it does the reverse on the way back to Heathrow. And here we have the official Cayman Airport lawnmower mowing the gravel. No, it's not really doing that. It's just completed its rounds, I'm guessing. I think we are beginning to lose our signal, or something's happening that's not right. Maybe it's the heat, although we're shielded from the sun. It's been a very pleasant experience up here. All right, well, I'm not sure if we're still on the air or not. If we are, welcome back to the last few minutes of Runway DFW at large from Grand Cayman. I think we had a meltdown of our streaming device. So we're going to try it again. I think we're on the air. And really, we were just going to watch this final JetBlue come in. Let's see, is anybody out there? Longhorn fan wants to know why I'm wearing a coat. Well, it's not a coat, it's just it's a fishing shirt, which is to protect me from the sun. So thank you for asking. And we are still live, says Beaker and Haidu. Okay. JaVale McNeil says, go to Montego Bay next. You won't regret it. Thank you for the suggestion. Okay, we're just about to see JetBlue Flight 343 coming in from Boston, an Airbus A320. It'll be our last plane of the day. Seems so much quieter than a lot of the planes we've seen come in. All right, well, we had a brief interruption, but that seems to have gone away, and now it's time for us to go away. There's Wellington Flights Live. Hello to you, Kevin. Hi, Walt. Wow, amazing to see you streaming live there in the Grand Cayman Islands. I would love to visit that part of the world someday. You know, we encountered, or I guess it was Charlene that encountered some Australians, or an Australian, while she was snorkeling about yesterday or the day before. And I said to her, why would an Australian or somebody from that part of the world go this far to go to an island? Wow, that truck had a lot of pollution. And I can only imagine that that was because maybe that Australian person was from maybe living in the U.S. or in the vicinity. But anyway, we are gonna, is that all? So I think you see there the United Flight 1854 is going back to Houston. I don't know, should we wait for that? I guess to go, we should have a plane that's leaving, right? Well, in case our signal gets cut off again from you, I would like to thank each of you for hanging out with us for a bit here on this tropical isle. We'll be back to DFW Airport next week, probably on Monday or Tuesday. As we follow up, as we end this this little sojourn. It's been really fun to do it's kind of experimental to do things like this from places you've never been, and it's fun. And I hope you shared in some of the fun too. Yeah, I meant to tell Kevin from Wellington Flights Live that, or maybe Charlene was saying this. I had breakfast the other day. It was kind of a breakfast, which consisted of bread from the Cayman Islands butter from New Zealand, jam from the UK, and a Coca-Cola, which was bottled in Puerto Rico. So that's just how international things get here. So here is this United 737-800 going to Houston, 23-year-old aircraft. We'll flip over to the JetBlue as it docks. Oops. When we went off the air there for a short time, it messed up all of my presets. So I'm pushing buttons where I thought the picture would be, and it's not there anymore. A United plane with the old livery, or at least not the current one, with the golden continental globe on the tail instead of the newer blue one, and the smaller writing on the side of the fuselage. Yes, Brandon, that was seeing those UPS planes. That was a recording that was somehow queued up on my playlist here. I apologize for that. I by no means meant to imply that I'm in two places at once. So once again, we're going to watch this plane take off, and then we're going to take off. No chat extravaganza today. For one thing, I think our chat extravaganza connection went away. All right, plane spotters around the world, we are gonna blast off here ourselves. Thanks again for watching and for liking and subscribing and all those things. And again, we'll be back next week on Runway DFW. This is not a good song. We always have to end it this way.
Travel arrangements for overseas acts and promotional consideration furnished by Pan American World Airways, the world's most experienced airline. Pan Am makes the going great. This is Dick Tufeld speaking.
Chip, it's nothing personal. It's just that nothing happens here between now and about 2 hours from now. So that's what we're up against. I'm looking for some more music to play while we finish out here. And I'm not finding it. I should be more organized, shouldn't I? Christmas music. That. No, that. Here we go. That's a little better.